Welcome to the Water Trough, where we can't make you drink, but we will make you think. My name is Ed Drozd of the Small Business Doctor, and I'm really excited you chose to join me here as we discuss topics that are important for small business folks just like you. If you're looking for ideas, inspiration, and possibility, you've come to the right place. Join us as we take steps to help you create the healthy business that you've always wanted. Hi, it's Ed Drozd of the Small Business Doctor. Welcome back to the Water Trough. I don't think I need to tell you how important customer service is. The customer service that we receive from those who are in a store or a phone engagement with us is profoundly important. Of course, it pretty much decides whether or not we'll make a purchase or we'll return. It guides what kind of comments we'll make after we have had that engagement as well. I had an experience earlier this week that I felt was really worth sharing. I'm in the process of relocating to North Carolina, and my wife and I are trying to go through the various things that one has to get rid of before you move. And there are a number of things that we have here that we might be able to sell and things that do potentially have some value. So I stumbled across a coin and jewelry shop in the local area this past week, and I decided to go down there for a visit. I brought along some jewelry and a couple of small knickknacks and antique type things that I have, just curious to see what might transpire. And I have to tell you, my experience was simply amazing. It really did blow me away. It blew me away because of the customer service that was offered. First of all, let's make it clear what kind of place this is. The footprint of the shop itself is relatively small. But when you walk in, it is full of exciting and interesting things to see. There are glass cases in which the owner and staff have put together a wide variety of coins and bills, ingots and silver, gold and platinum, and so on. There are tons of things behind glass, and there are so many things scattered throughout the shop, more of an antique nature, little things. You could spend your day just looking around in captivation at the things that are there. And as attractive as the surroundings are, it is the reception that I received and the service that was granted to me that made this an amazing experience. I walked in the door and I was immediately greeted by this gal named Angela, who I had actually encountered in the parking lot as I was trying to collect my wares to bring into the store. And Angela immediately came over to me, introduced herself, and made a point of making me feel very comfortable, asking me what it is I was looking to do, and asking me, had I ever been in a situation like this before? And I want to say something about that. The greeting is really powerful itself. The greeting is something that applies to any kind of customer and business interface. How do you receive people when they enter into your shop, your space, your department? How do you actually greet the customer? In this case, her approach was to make me feel very welcome. She introduced herself by name. She extended her hand, shook my hand, and said that she was here to help me in whatever way I need. And then asking me, had I ever been in a shop like this before, made me feel very much at ease. Because I'll be honest with you, I'd never done anything like this before, and I wasn't sure what I was getting into. Putting me at ease as she did made me feel very confident that I was going to be able to accomplish the things that I needed to accomplish while I was there. So to recap, my greeting was very warm and cordial. I was also put at ease, making me feel comfortable in a situation I'd never been in before. Needless to say, I was in the hands of the folks that worked in the shop. And they made me feel very, very much at ease and very confident that I would be able to do the things that I'd intended to do. That was just the beginning. That happened all in a matter of about the first 45 seconds after I walked into the shop. The business of identifying jewelry, for example, and whether it's 10, 14, 18, or 22 karat gold, whether it's platinum, if it's silver, sterling, or to what degree, 99% or 95%, or silver plate. All these things are technical matters that the folks in the shop obviously have to be prepared to manage. And for the neophyte like myself, these are things I didn't understand. In order to make a determination about many of the materials that I brought along, they had to do quite a bit of testing. In fact, it took approximately an hour to go through the materials that I had to be able to make the necessary identification in order to decide what the materials I brought were worth. And during that time, I was fortunate enough to have a very thorough education on what sorts of things they have to do. This all takes place in front of me, right in front of me over the case, and I'm being educated as we go about all the things that they're doing to make determinations. For example, I was very surprised and very pleased to find out that one of the rings that I brought in, rather than being 10 karat gold, was actually platinum. Surprised and a bit disappointed to see that my quote-unquote sterling silver tea set was silver plate, that is to say 99.99% copper, and a mere dusting of silver on top. But the manner in which the process was conducted was thoroughly captivating to me. These people do this sort of thing for a living. This is their stuff. They know what they're doing. But they took the time to share with me and to do what they had to do, but to let me have a glimpse of what it was all about. I never once felt like I was being taken for a ride. Everything was right in front of my nose, and everything was explained in detail, and every question that I asked was answered. At one point, another customer came in, and Angela had to turn me over to the owner, Len. They made a totally seamless swap. Angela had worked with this other client before. Len came over, picked up where Angela left off, and continued without any hiccups whatsoever. This again added to my sense of feeling at ease, feeling as if I was in a place where there was a tremendous amount of camaraderie and a great deal of expertise. The entire experience was cloaked in the fact that these people were thoroughly engaging. You clearly see that they were enjoying each other's company. They enjoy their clientele. They really, really felt very comfortable being there. It made me, and the others that came in after me, feel absolutely welcome and at home. The takeaway that I'd like to leave with you is this. You have the opportunity when you interface with customers to be engaging. You may look at it simply as an opportunity to sell something. In this particular case, they both sell and buy. But whatever it is that you're doing, you look at it as an end result. The transaction is to sell or to buy, and that's that. But the ability to engage your customers in such a way that they're enthusiastic about returning, that they're enthusiastic about putting your name out there. Heck, in my case, enthusiastic enough to create a podcast post about their performance. Okay? This is indeed a very, very important aspect of customer service. Being able to engage your customers and to do so sincerely. There was not the slightest hint of this stuff being made up. This was the real deal. This may not work in your environment, and that's perfectly fine. It's not to say that you have to match or be identical to these folks in this particular location, but it is worth your while to consider the value of what they've done. the sincerity, the expertise, the ability and willingness to engage the customer, to make them feel at home and to feel welcome. Each of these things is powerful to bring your business to a new and a higher level. I encourage you to give some consideration to the way things have been done here. I believe it can and it will make a difference for you. This is Ed Drozd of the Small Business Doctor. Until next time, I wish you a healthy business.